Hello guys, beautiful empaths. Guys, before I start this video, I want to show you something. Look around me. Look at that. Look at the weather, guys. Look how beautiful it is outside here. Glorious day, beautiful day. Afternoon, evening, morning, I don't know whichever part of the world you're watching from. Now, this is Denzel Moss, your boy Denzel Moss again. I came out to catch the sun today, and then I was reading through my messages, and I came across two different messages, and one of the messages from my friends was like, I've heard you talking about, somebody was asking me, I've heard you talking about empaths and, all this Vision 2020 empaths, what is going on, what is this whole thing, who is even an empath in the first place. So, then I figured out that I could make a video about that. I could just, try to make a video in response to that question that I got recently. And also, second question somebody asked me, how comes, because there's one of my followers, and he was having this situation of waking up between 3 and 5. So it's like every time somehow he goes to sleep in the night, and then he ends up, he finds himself waking up in the night, and like between 3 and 5 o'clock. So I decided to also, I'm going to think about that. I'm going to make a video about it. I know what is going on, because it was like, hey, I need you to help me with this. I'm always finding myself getting up in the night, sometimes between 3, sometimes between 3 and 5. Sometimes I'm getting up at 3:10, sometimes I'm getting up at 3:20, sometimes I'm getting up at 4:15. So he was asking those kind of questions, and then I was like, well, I'm going to put some light on that as well, but that will not be today. So today I'm just going to talk about that empathy question. Somebody asked me something about empaths. So a guy, one of my friends, was usually watches my videos, and was like asking me, I hear you, I watch your videos, I hear you talking about empathy, I hear you talking about breaking empaths free, I hear you do this. So he was like, why don't you really make a video about empaths? So who are these empaths you're talking about? Now, the video today is going to be in relation to that question. So empaths, guys, empathy. What is empathy? Guys, empathy is understanding another person's experience. You can understand somebody's experience, or you can be able to feel the way they feel. Because when you are an empath, you have the ability to wear somebody's shoes. You have the ability to step in their shoes. So you have the ability to feel the way they feel. So that is what they call empathy. So empathy is simply understanding another person's experiences by being able to put yourself in their shoes. So by doing that, you are able to feel the way they feel. You are able to experience their emotions. You can feel them on emotional level. You know what I mean? So that's what they call empathy, actually. And in addition to that, I wanted to put out like 5 or 6 points that that person can be able to, that can help that person understand exactly how do you tell that you're an empath. It's a good thing to be an empath, but it's also it's got its own pros and cons. You know what I mean? It has got its own positives and negatives. So I can talk about the negatives in a way that sometimes when you're able to feel the way the people feel, sometimes they drain your energy. So when you're able to suck or to drain, to feel people's emotions, at the end of the day, you are like exchanging emotions. So at the end of the day, you are able to feel the way they feel, and sometimes in the negative way, they can drain you. You can feel like you're really drained and you're really tired for some reason that you cannot really explain or you cannot really understand. So in a positive way is like you can be able to heal people. Sometimes when you associate with people, when you're able to feel the way they feel, or when you're able to relate with people in their different situations, whatever they're going through in their lives, you're able to heal them, because it's like they are offloading their emotions. They're offloading their emotions, or they're offloading their life experiences out there to you. So you take out their emotions from the psychological, you take out like those emotions or those feelings from those people. So in a positive way, you can be able to heal. But I mean, when it finds you in that situation whereby you're not balanced, you're not grounded, you're not balanced, it can drain you. That can be in a negative way. So I'll give to you about 5. Actually, I'll give you 6 signs that you might know, or you might want to understand that actually you're probably an empath and you don't even know it. The very first sign I will talk about, or personality of an empath, I can talk about something what they call you're like a source of support. So what do I mean by source of support? Like for some reason, people just coming to you, people just come to you. All of a sudden, some people know you, some people don't know you, but you just find yourself that people are just coming to you for some sort of support. So this doesn't have to be financial support. This can be financial support, yes, but this can also be emotional support. Somebody just has got a very bad day, and for some reason they meet you somewhere on the way, and they end up coming to you and confiding their life experience in that day. They are confiding that thing to you. So like, oh, today I had a bad day and I feel like this. So you are able to feel and to relate with that person. So that is like people are coming to you for some sort of support. So that's the emotional. Sometimes it can be a physical support. Sometimes they need some physical help with something, and then you have to get in, because you're like empaths. Empaths are like people like that. When people come to them, they don't think twice. They just step in and help them anyway. So sometimes it can be material, financial, this kind of, maybe somebody needs some money, somebody's homeless or something like that. So those kind of things is where you can understand that you're probably an empath, because you just end up for some reason, whether somebody knows you or they don't know you, they always just come to you and, they try to ask some kind of, they ask you some sort of support. So in that way, when people are coming to you to ask for support, you find yourself like you're being drained, you're getting drained, because sometimes you're giving and giving, because the empaths like to give. They just like to give. They just like to give whatever's left of them, of their energy, of their finances, of their money, of their everything. They just give. They're just givers. So people, when they're always coming to you as a source of support, they're always kind of draining your energy. So that's when you will know that you're actually an empath. Second sign I can talk about is you have a very high sense of intuition. You have a very, very high sense of intuition. Intuition, I can relate like you can tell, or you can sense. Actually, if I can use the best word, you can sense a lie. You can know somebody's lying. People with empathy, they're like lie detectors. You know what I mean? So they can know that somebody's lying to them. Sometimes even you don't have to speak. But as long as you come in their presence, because they have got that empathic abilities to feel people's emotions, they will know that actually something what you're trying to tell them is actually a lie. So you're actually lying to them. So they will know you're deceiving, and they will know you're lying to them, and they will actually know that you're manipulating them just by way of empathy, way of feeling your emotions and feeling your intentions. They will know your intentions, or if I can call it like that. They will know your intentions, because they will know when you come to them that actually you want to lie, or to cheat, or to steal, or to to deceive them, for example. You know what I mean? So these people, like, they can read between the smile. They can read between. It doesn't matter. You can come to them and you're smiling. You're happy. You look happy. You look very happy. You look very satisfied. You look this. So they will know that actually it is not what you're expressing that is actually your current situation. So they will read beyond the smile. You know what I mean? So they read beyond the smile, and they will know that actually whatever you're trying to hide, or whatever you're trying to shadow behind the smile, it is not what it is. So they have that, always that intuition of knowing things, sometimes before you actually talk about them. So they are like liar, they are like detectives, they're like they have like some sort of emotional antennas, you know. So I can call them like emotional antennas because they have the ability to sense somebody who is lying to them. If somebody is lying to them or whatever it is, so they will actually know that somebody is lying to them. Even sometime before you speak, they will know that you're lying to them. Yeah, the third one I want to talk about is like empaths tend to step out of their own problems. So they will forget about their problems. They'll forget about what they are facing. They will forget about their own circumstances and their own situations, and they step out to help people instead. So because they are very big givers and the people with very big hearts, so they always put other people's problems in front of theirs. So before actually dealing with their own problems or with their own situations or issues, they will end up stepping up out of their way to help people. You know, like they will always put their problems, people's problems, in front of theirs. So that's how, if you find yourself in a situation like that, whereby sometimes you have got your own shit happening, or you've got your own stuff happening with you, and then you find yourself stepping out to help somebody and putting their problems in front of yours, that is also a sign that you can be an empath. Fourth one I can talk about, empaths also have the ability to, they always, I don't know why it happens like that, but for some reason they tend to attract broken people. So you know, broken people, I can talk about broken people who is like broken people, this is people who, like, they have nothing going on, you know what I mean? They have nothing going on. They have been abandoned. They have been you know, people like, they have just fallen out of their relationships. They have left their marriages. They have done this. So for some reason those people are hurting. So they have gone to that extent whereby they are broken. Sometimes I can even talk about people like you know, people like narcissists, people like sociopaths. So those kind of people, like broken people with a broken mentality. So sometimes, because those people, they need some sort of validation, it is very easy to take that validation and to get that validation from an empath, because empaths, they are always there to listen and they are always there to comfort people in their problems. So they like have that tendency of attracting broken people, people who have nothing going on in their lives, you know what I mean? People who are like there's nothing happening. They, you know, they are just like, they have failed to find a partner, they have failed to find a job, they have failed to find love. So they always have to come somewhere somehow, and on their way, that's why that's why they say that sometimes empaths, they're like magnets, you know. So those broken people will just, for some reason, find themselves getting attracted. They will find them and they will always meet on the way, because one of them is an empath and one of them is broken. So for some reason, when they get together, there's that kind of stability. So they kind of look for those people who are empaths. Those broken people look for empaths just to create some sort of stability, in their lives. You know what I mean? So the fifth one I can talk about is like, when you're an empath, you can realize that you are taking on people's energy. For some reason, you're taking on people's energy. So let's say you go to you're going to a club, or let's say you are somehow you end up in a very crowded place, with a lot of people, a lot of energies, everybody with there. Because remember, guys, everybody has got their own energies. So you are in a very big crowded place, but for some reason you're going to find yourself like, you are taking on this energy. For some reason, this energy is overwhelming you. It's like you're feeling each and everything. You're feeling, sometimes the energy, you can feel it is overwhelming, and actually you have to end up like separating yourself from the crowd, you know what I mean? So when there's a crowd, you'll find yourself like stepping out of the crowd and, you know, like isolating yourself somehow, because the only way empaths have to regenerate their energy is by stepping out of crowd. Sometimes they step out in the nature, they go to the nature, but sometimes when there is no like natural vicinity in their area, so they may just have to step out of the club, you know what I mean? Because when they are in that crowd, a place where there's a lot of people, they end up taking on that energy, you know. I mean, that is subconsciously, they don't even know actually what is happening, but they just tend to suck in and to take in that other people's energy, you know what I mean? So they don't like to be in crowded places. Every time when they're in crowded places, they feel very, very uncomfortable. They feel an overwhelming energy inside them, you know. They are like, they cannot handle it. So when they keep on in that place for a very, very long period of time, they'll find that they are taking on these people's energy, so they can't handle it, and at the end of the day, they have got to separate themselves and to, you know, excuse themselves from the crowd. So they cannot handle crowds. That is empaths as well. So that's how you can know that you're an empath as well. Now it is Another thing I can say is like these people tend to be givers. You know what I mean? I don't know, for some reason, but if you're an empath, you just want to give. You know what I mean? You just want to give. It does not matter. You have a lot, you have less, you have this, you have that. You just want to give. You can give and you give until you have nothing left of you because you are just a giver. That is the way it is. So empaths are just givers. So you can give everything. You can give your energy. You can give your properties. You can give your money. You can give this. You just give and give and give and give. And those people, because some of those people, they are broken people, they just keep on taking and taking and taking. So that's what happens with empaths. They just always give. And other people just take from them until nothing is left of them. Left of them. Whatever they have left of them is gone. Their energy is gone. And they all lose it all. So that's what happens as well, that you can a way that you can understand or you can relate that you're actually probably an empath. You know what I mean? So another sign I can talk about is also the last one. Empaths, because they tend to absorb people's feelings. Sometimes when they're with people, maybe they're in the classroom, maybe they're in the school, maybe they're in the church, maybe they're somewhere. So they tend to absorb people's energy. So sometimes when people have got bad energies around them, so when you sit down with those people, maybe sometimes they're talking to you or sometimes you're just sitting next to them. So as an empath, you tend to absorb their energy. So when you absorb their energy, you start to feel overwhelmed. So you get overwhelmed inside you, and you don't really know what is that feeling. You get some sort of a very, very huge, you get very, very overwhelmed, and you get very, very excited. So some reason you don't know what is going on with you, and you do not know exactly how are you going to sort out this thing. So you do not know if you need to first of all deal with your feelings, or if you need to deal with the other people's feelings. So you don't even know which feelings to sort out first, because you do not know there's a lot of feelings going on in the area. If it's a place with a lot of people, so there are a lot of feelings like crisscrossing each other, going around in the area. So you do not know which feelings exactly do you need to sort out first. Somebody has told you something. Do you need to sort them out first, or do you need to sort yourself out first? Because always empaths as well, they have their own issues going on. You know what I mean? They're normal human beings, so they got issues as well going on in their lives. But because they are empaths, there is something in them that is deeply empathetic. So they have the ability to step in. Instead of stepping in for themselves, they step in for other people before themselves. So that's what happens with empaths. You know what I mean? So just to answer that friend of mine who asked me some question about the empaths, and what is with this whole Vision 2020 thing? What is this whole empaths, breaking empaths free? So the reason why I actually started this, I can call it a campaign or something like, I could call it a campaign like V2020, breaking empaths free, because most of the empaths, they have ended up in very, very terrible situations, because some of them, they have been lost whatever they have. They have lost whatever they have. They have lost they have lost their heads. They have lost their money. They have lost they have lost everything, because they are empaths. They continue giving and giving and giving, and usually, and most of the times, they're giving to broken people. So those people, they are just taking away from them. They are taking all their energy, finances, and everything. So they're just taking from them. You know what I mean? So when they keep on giving, at the end of the day, they lose it all. So that's the vision why I came up with this page, to step up and to stand in and to give light to this thing, to enlighten people about this whole empath thing, and to help them realize, empaths out there, to help them realize, are they actually in some sort of how do they know that they need to stop? They need to stop whatever they're doing. They have to stop and get up and stand out and take back their power. Take back their power from people who are actually taking energy or taking whatever from them. So guys, it's been a very short video, and I just wanted to make just a few points. There's a friend of mine who asked me about that question, and I just want to put the point out there. Somebody asked me exactly who is an empath. I'm talking about empaths. So who is an empath? How do you know you're an empath? And this and this. So this is the whole aim of this video. My next video is going to be concerning another question I got as well on my page. Somebody was asking me, they just for some reason getting up between 3 and 5 in the morning. Some of the look on the clock is 3:10, sometimes it's 4 o'clock, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's before 5. But then there are some others even actually who get up at a very specific time. Somebody can be getting up at 4:44. Somebody can be getting up at 3:33. Somebody can be getting up at 3:15. So they have specific times. You just get up all of the. You don't know what gets you up or what wakes you up, but for some reason something wakes you up. And you look on your clock, it's 3:15. You look on your clock, it's 3:33. On each and every single day, it happens the same. So I'm just going to answer that question tomorrow. I'm going to give some light on that. I'll be able to answer that question probably tomorrow or the next day, but I'm going to give some light on what exactly is happening in that time and why you're able to get up at that time. You know what I mean? So what happens during that incident, during that that situation, and what makes you and what actually awakes you at that time that you're saying you're waking up. So guys, been a very short video. Denzel Mos Unscripted as always. Your boy Denzel Mos. Peace out to you all. Love you. Much blessings and stay well. Stay safe. Thanks.